Welcome to Pillow Talks with Victor, where love lingers in words. Tonight, a story that begins quietly, across a narrow hallway, behind two closed doors. This is across the corridor. The hallway light hums like it's remembering something. It flickers once every few seconds, washing the corridor in uneven amber, enough to make everything look half real. I moved into this residence 2 nights ago. A late transfer. New city, new major, new everything. The air smells faintly of floor polish and rain, that damp metallic scent that seeps in through the open windows. Most rooms here are already full. Laughter and music spill from behind doors, except one, the one directly across from mine. The first time I noticed her door, it wasn't because of her. It was because of the silence. Every other door had a noise, a song, a laugh, a conversation, but that one stayed still. Then, last night, I heard a faint tune. A piano, soft, hesitant, like someone relearning how to play. It came from across the corridor. I remember sitting up, leaning against the cold wall, listening. A few notes stopped, repeated. Then a hum followed. A voice, female, low and unsure. No words, just melody. And something in me stilled. Tonight, I hear it again. Same time, same tune. I open my door quietly. The corridor glows under the flickering light. Her door is slightly open, just a sliver of gold spilling out onto the floor. There's a shadow that moves behind it, slow and rhythmic, like someone swaying to the music. I don't know why I step closer. Maybe curiosity, maybe loneliness. The tune stops, and I freeze mid-step. Then a soft voice. "Are you listening again?" My throat tightens. I wasn't expecting her to notice. I manage a weak, "Sorry, I didn't mean to." The door opens wider. She's standing there, one hand on the frame, a faint smile tugging at her lips. Her hair's loose, falling in uneven waves. She's wearing an oversized sweater that looks like it's been through a few winters. "It's okay," she says. "It's nice to have someone listening." Her eyes catch the corridor light, warm brown, almost amber. And for a moment, I forget to breathe. She steps back, motioning me inside. Her room smells like old paper and coffee. There's a small keyboard on the desk, a steaming mug beside it, and open notebooks scattered everywhere. She sits cross-legged on the floor, picking up where she left off. "I'm terrible at this," she murmurs. I shake my head. "You're not." She glances up, one eyebrow raised. "You haven't even heard the whole song." I heard enough. Her laugh is quiet, the kind that drifts through a room like candle smoke. She plays again, fingers brushing the keys delicately. The melody wobbles, but doesn't fall apart. It feels like she's searching for something between the notes. "I used to play when I was younger," she says. "Stopped for years, trying to remember how it felt. How did it feel?" She looks at me, really looks, like everything else disappeared. The way she says it, simple, honest, it sinks under my skin. I want to tell her I know that feeling, that I came here running from a version of myself that had stopped feeling anything, but I don't. Instead, I sit on the floor across from her, listening. She keeps playing, and the room fills with soft sound, hesitant, imperfect, alive. An hour passes without either of us noticing. When she finally stops, the silence feels heavier, charged. "I should sleep," she says. "Yeah, me too," but neither of us move. There's something in her eyes, that quiet recognition when two people realize they're both a little lost in the same way. She smiles again, smaller this time. "Good night, neighbor." "Good night." I step back into the hallway. The flickering light catches the edge of her door as it closes. For a few seconds, I just stand there, hearing the faint echo of her song. Then, before I can stop myself, I whisper, "Play again tomorrow." From behind the door, soft laughter. I heard that. That night, I lie awake, listening to the rain slide down the window. Every drop sounds like a key being pressed. The melody lingers in my mind, unfinished, like a sentence waiting for its next word. And for the first time in months, I want morning to come faster. The next morning, I wake up to sunlight leaking through half-closed blinds. The floor is warm where the light lands, and for a second I wonder if last night really happened. Her door, the music, the laughter, then I hear it again, faint. Across the corridor, the same piano notes. I smile before I realize I'm smiling. I make coffee, open my door, and lean against the frame. Her door is open just enough for me to see a shadow move. She's tying her hair back, humming under her breath. When she notices me, she pauses mid-song, like she's deciding whether to say something. "Morning," she finally says. "Morning," I reply. "You start early," she shrugs. "Couldn't sleep. I always play when my head's too loud." "Guess we both have that problem." She tilts her head, half smiling. "You too?" "Yeah," I say. "Different soundtrack, though. Mine's coffee and bad decisions." She laughs, a real laugh this time, and it fills the empty corridor like light through stained glass. That sound stays with me all day. Over the next week, we fall into an unspoken rhythm. The hallway becomes its own little world, a strip of light and sound connecting two lives that shouldn't have crossed but somehow did. We talk between half-closed doors, sometimes about small things, books, songs, how the rain here never really stops, sometimes about nothing, comfortable pauses that mean more than words. Her name comes out one evening without me asking. She's leaning against her doorframe, hair damp from a shower, holding a mug of tea. "I'm Nora. By the way," she says, almost casually. "Daniel," I reply. She nods. "I know. The mail slots are labelled." We both laugh. I don't tell her how her name fits her. Soft, old-fashioned, like something out of a story that stays with you. One night, a power cut sweeps through the building. Everything goes dark except for the rain outside. Silver under the streetlights. I open my door, guided by instinct more than thought. Across the corridor, hers opens too, a soft glow from a candle inside. "You okay?" I ask. She holds up a pack of candles like a magician with a secret, always prepared. "Should I be impressed?" "Terribly," she says, grinning. I step closer, and for the first time, I cross the corridor. The distance feels longer than it should, maybe because it means something now. Her room flickers in candlelight, shadows moving across her walls. Over the piano, over her face, she hands me a candle, the wax warm where her fingers touch mine. We sit on the floor again, our shoulders almost brushing. Outside, thunder murmurs low and distant. She asks, "Why did you transfer so late in the year?" I hesitate, tracing the rim of the candle holder. "I needed a restart. Things got heavy back home." She nods slowly, not pushing. "Same here." The silence that follows isn't awkward. It's a quiet understanding. Two people carrying different kinds of loneliness, finding the same language for it. A candle guttered. She leaned forward to steady it, and for a moment her hair brushed my arm. The smallest contact, and yet my chest tightened. She looked at me then, eyes reflecting the flame. "Funny, isn't it?" she said softly. "How sometimes the people we barely know see us clearer than the ones we've known forever." I wanted to answer, but words wouldn't come. Instead, I watched the way the candlelight trembled in her pupils, and I knew she was right. When the power came back, the lights felt too bright, the world too loud. I blinked, still sitting on her floor, still half lost in that silence we'd shared. She smiled, half shy, half certain. "Guess we survived the blackout." "Barely," I said, As I stood to leave, she reached out and touched my sleeve, almost absently. "Thanks for the company," she murmured. "Any time." And when I stepped back into my own room, everything, the air, the walls, even the faint hum of electricity returning, felt different. I closed my door, leaned against it and whispered her name once, just to feel it in the quiet. Nora. It sounded like something that could stay. The lights come back on, but neither of us moves. For a second, we're still bathed in candlelight, two people caught between what was dark and what's too bright. Nora looks at the candle beside her. Its flame trembles, then steadies. "I almost wish it stayed dark," she says quietly. I nod, watching the soft reflection of light on her face. "The world feels smaller that way. Safer," she adds. Her voice barely carries. It's the kind of tone people use when they're telling a truth they didn't plan to. The rain outside has slowed, tapping gently against the glass like it's keeping time for us. We don't rush it. We don't speak for a while. When she does, her words come carefully, each one balanced like a fragile thing. "I used to play piano for my dad," she says. "He'd sit by the window, coffee in hand, pretending not to cry when I played his favorite song. He passed away last year," she swallows hard. "I couldn't touch the piano after that. Not until I moved here. I let the silence hold what words can't, and then I say, 'You play like you're remembering someone.'" She smiles faintly. "I guess I am." There's something about grief that recognizes itself. It's in the small hesitations, the pauses you can't name. I take a breath. My mom used to say music is what's left after words run out. She was right. I pause. I lost her too. A year before college. Nora looks up. "That's why you transferred." I nod. I couldn't stay in that house. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt real. I needed to find somewhere new. Somewhere that didn't know me as someone broken. Her eyes soften, and for a moment, the room feels like the only safe place in the world. "Funny," she says. "I thought I came here to be alone. Turns out I was just waiting across a hallway." Her laugh breaks halfway, part humor, part ache. I shift closer, close enough that I can hear the unsteady rhythm of her breathing. "You don't have to be alone anymore," I say quietly. She looks at me, really looks. That deep, unwavering gaze that makes you feel seen all the way through. "I don't even know who you were before this," she whispers. "Maybe that's the point," I reply. "We get to know who we are now." The candle burns lower. The shadows stretch taller across the walls. Like silent witnesses, we sit cross-legged, knees nearly touching, trading stories, not the kind you tell at parties, but the ones that live behind your ribs. She tells me about the letter she never sent to her father. I tell her about the last voicemail I've never been able to delete, and in between those stories, there's laughter, small, genuine, surprising. It feels like healing sneaks in through moments like this. Unnoticed, uninvited, but very real. Hours pass. The rain has stopped, leaving only the faint drip from the balcony above. The world outside has gone still. She leans her head back against the wall, eyes half closed. "It's almost morning," she murmurs. I glance at the clock. "We've been talking for 5 hours. Feels like 5 minutes," she says, smiling tiredly. Something quiet settles between us. Not the silence of distance, but the silence of peace. The kind that says you're safe here. When I stand to leave, she doesn't stop me. But as I reach the door, she says softly, "Daniel." I turn. Her eyes meet mine, calm, steady, but full of something I can't name. "Thank you," she says. "For listening. You made it easy." She smiles, slow, real, the kind that reaches all the way to her eyes, and then, barely audible, "Play again tomorrow?" I nod. I'd like that. As I step into the hallway, the air feels different, charged but calm. alive but quiet. The flickering light from earlier has steadied. No more humming, no more shadows, just stillness, and something like peace. And behind me, faintly, I hear the soft click of her door, closing, but not shutting me out. Days pass. The air in the hallway changes. Not colder, just quieter. Her door stays closed more often now. I still hear the faint sound of piano some nights, but it's softer, the way rain sounds when it's moving away. Sometimes I sit near my door, coffee in hand, waiting for her melody to spill through. Sometimes it doesn't. Then one morning, there's an envelope on the floor. No name, just my room number written in hurried pen. I recognize the handwriting immediately. Inside, a short note. Don't worry, I'm fine. Just needed some time away. Thank you for listening when I couldn't talk. N. No address. No explanation. Just a folded piece of paper, carrying the weight of something unfinished. Days turn into weeks. The hallway feels longer without her. The flickering light above our doors burns out completely. Try not to think about the night we talked till morning. The sound of her voice in candlelight, the warmth of silence between us. But grief is funny like that. It hides in small things. The smell of coffee, the sound of rain, a half-played tune from a piano. Then one evening I hear it again. The same melody, soft, trembling, alive. I open my door, heart racing. Across the corridor, her door is open. She's there, sitting at the piano, candle beside her again. I don't speak. I just stand in the doorway, afraid that if I move, the moment will dissolve. When she finishes, she looks up and smiles. "You kept the light working?" she asks. "I fixed it," I reply. "I figured you would." She stands, brushing her hands on her jeans, then nods toward the hallway. "Walk with me." We end up outside, under the same rain that's been our soundtrack since the beginning. The world smells like wet pavement and lilac from the garden below. We walk in silence, not heavy, not hesitant, just still. Finally, she says, "I left because I thought I'd started to need this too much. You, the calm. The way you made everything stop hurting for a while. I got scared." I nod slowly. "I get that. I came here to escape. Then you showed up and I didn't want to anymore." She exhales, eyes on the puddles reflecting the lights. "Do you ever think some people are meant to find each other? Not to stay, but to help each other find themselves?" I smile faintly. "I do now." We stop walking. She looks at me then. The same look from that first night across the corridor, when everything started quietly. There's no kiss, no grand moment, just a shared stillness under the rain, and a feeling that something inside both of us finally let go. Back inside, she pauses at her door. "Daniel?" "Yeah?" "Keep listening," she says softly. Then her door closes, and almost immediately, the piano starts again. I sit on the floor by my door, back against the wall, eyes closed. Her melody drifts through the air, gentle, searching, whole. This time, it doesn't sound unfinished, and for the first time, neither do I.